This is a prequel to sunscreen.
Yeah.
A wavelength is the measurement from one peak of a wave to the next peak of a wave.
The peak is the highest
The peak
part.
is the highest part.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From the top to the top.
You could also measure from the bottom to the bottom because
If
that'll
you
be the
want.
same. Yeah, tops, bottoms, all are welcome.
Exactly.
Our sun puts out a lot of different waves. We mentioned it's called the electromagnetic spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those waves can be measured and categorized based on their measurements. The shorter the wavelength, the higher the energy. Longer the wavelength, lower energy. I am also going to include a graphic for visual learners on this one.
Yeah.
Because, again, this one's very difficult to just conceptualize.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in the water, you can't really measure a wavelength. At least I can't or don't want to.
No.
All you need to know for this is that there is wavelengths.
Various types.
Various, yes. Call it the electromagnetic spectrum. It consists of gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, microwaves, and radio waves in decreasing order of energy.
Radio waves are the longest.
Yes. This means that as the sun is boiling and zooming around, it's making all those different types of waves.
Yeah.
So what do those do? I'll give you a little brief on some of them. All we really care about is ultraviolet, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a little something. So gamma rays, these ones are really intense.
Yeah.
Okay? You can imagine because they are the shortest wavelength that the sun makes. So the highest energy wave that the sun makes. And again, hard to conceptualize the sun, but it's a million chain reaction atomic bombs. So the highest energy wavelength that is coming off of this would be the gamma ray.
Yeah.
So hard to conceptualize, but it's a lot of energy.
It's intense.
Yeah. So the gamma ray is actually what shoots off and starts chain reactions oftentimes
That makes sense.
for other ones because it's a very hot beam of radiation.
Yeah.
They're very, very hot. They're capable of atom ionization, which just means splitting atoms.
Yeah.
Separating the ions. Or that is why it's because of these gamma rays that they were afraid that the atomic bomb was going to start a chain reaction. We didn't, I don't know if they really knew where the gamma rays were going to go.
And again, like, we might as well just try and see.
Yeah.
You
Well, only one way to find out.
What could go wrong?
So that's gamma ray. Next, we have X-rays. You are probably familiar with an X-ray.
Yeah.
Right? We as humans utilize X-rays for bone imaging, medical imaging. We refer to them as X-rays.
Have you ever gotten X-rays?
Yeah. I broke both of my arms at the same time when I was in 3rd grade. So I had to get X-rays on both my arms. X-rays. You might be curious how they work, and really it's not that complicated.
Mm-hmm.
An X-ray sends out X-rays, and those go into your body, and your different tissues absorb different amounts of that radiation. Your bones are very dense and they absorb a lot of X-ray radiation, and the imaging picks that up as a white image.
That makes sense.
So it kind of just goes through everything else, all your other tissues, but then your bones kind of absorb it and glow.
And it's not like great to get X-rays, right?
No, because you are putting radiation into your body.
Yeah.
And you're glowing up those bones. So
Ooh, glowy bones.
old glowy bones over here. That's what I thought
Oh,
you said.
yeah, her bones glow. Glowy bones is crazy. Isn't that a Mario character? There is one called Bones. Maybe he glows in the dark.
Hey, at the end of the day, we all glow in an X-ray.
We're all
All
just
our
glowy bones.
All of our bones will glow in an X-ray. So.
We're not all that different, are we?
We're really not. Gamma ray and X-ray. Those are the two highest energy waves that come off of the sun. And luckily for us, those are completely filtered out by our atmosphere.
She's so nice to us.
Next in energy is the real star of today's show and the reason that we're all gathered here today. And that is UV or ultraviolet. The prefix ultra means beyond. So the name means beyond violet.
That makes sense.
And it's because the next longest wavelength would appear as the color violet.
Because that's our like visible color
the
spectrum.
visible light spectrum. Beyond violet, or that the wavelength is more energetic than the color purple. So UV can be broken down into 3 categories.
I was about to say they're very creatively named.
They are very creatively named. And this is also based on the size of the wave. So it can be broken down into 3 categories: UVC, UVB, and UVA.
How
Okay.
long do you think it took for them to come up with those names?
I don't know why it kind of bugs me that the highest energy is a UVC and the lowest energy wavelength is UVA. I don't know. Not a big deal.
If you're going to give them boring names like that, at least do it correctly.
Yeah. Call one of them UV Tyler.
UV Tyler, UV Jimmy,
and UV Caroline. Okay.
so
but those
funny.
aren't their names. It's UVC, UVB, and UVA.
If we were around when they were naming them.
Someone give me naming rights to something.
Seriously, you're great at it. We just have some sort of chemistry principal called Tyler.
Okay, UVC.
Ugh.
UVC is also completely filtered out by the atmosphere.
As of right now.
As of right now. That's so true. UVC, we don't worry about it for now.
Mm-hmm.
But if we run out of ozone, we might need to start making UVC sunscreen.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
UVB is next. This one is less energetic or longer than UVC. This wavelength tends to penetrate just your top layers of skin and can't go quite as deep as other UV, which we'll talk about. For that reason, UVB tends to be the primary cause for sunburns and a long-term tan. It stimulates your melanin production, and it also thickens your epidermis, which is your body's natural kind of defense mechanism to the sun. But as we will talk about later, it's not quite enough.
Yeah.
Your body's doing what it can, but it's not super human. It's just human.
Yeah.
So then after UVB, we have UVA. This is the longest of the ultraviolet waves, or the least energetic, but it penetrates deeper into the skin and causes photoaging. So UVA increases the number of enzymes that break down your collagen. So an enzyme is essentially a protein that like has a job to do. So UVA increases the number of these enzymes in your body that destroy your collagen and elastin.
Which leads to aging.
Yeah.
Like faster aging.
Collagen and elastin are parts of your skin that are, gives it
They
like
keep it
elasticity. Yeah.
Bouncy and youthful.
When that is broken down, it results in fine lines and wrinkles. And then UVA can also be broken down into 2 further categories, which we will mention later. UV radiation is the highest energy wavelength that's able to pass through our atmosphere. So hopefully with all of that context, you can get a little bit more just general understanding of why UV is dangerous. We have gamma rays, we have X-rays, and then we have UV rays.
Yeah.
Like they're less dangerous than those things. That doesn't mean that they're good for you. Even though UV is the star of the show, and I gave you a little background on that, I do want to cover the other waves just a little bit because I don't want anyone to feel left out. Okay? So we mentioned visible light. This is a very, very small portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, and the part of the electromagnetic spectrum that is perceivable by the human eye. So it means that there are waves going around, and this very small portion of waves we detect as light and color.
Yeah.
These waves are responsible for everything that we see. And if a wave in this range has a higher energy or a higher temperature, then it'll appear to be more of a blue color. So blue is energetically higher than red.
Which kind of pisses me off.
I kind of agree because it feels like it should be the opposite.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure what the universe was doing when it decided that, but whatever.
I know, so rude. If a wave is warmer in actual temperature, the light will appear what we call cooler or more blue toned light. And then if the wave is cooler in temperature or it has a longer wavelength or less energy, then it will appear to be more red or warmer. Yeah, so it's kind of confusing. It's because you can see this happening in fire. So near the source, it's blue. That's where it's hottest, is right at the coals. And then where it is tapering off from where we can now see it, it's red at the very top. And blue is a hot color and red's a cool color. Sorry.
Yeah. We didn't make the rules.
We don't make them. Speaking of blue and red, the visible light spectrum is also responsible for all colors. And things don't have colors. Rather, they reflect and color and absorb every other color. So this couch, it does not possess orange. It simply absorbs all the visible light waves that aren't orange and reflects orange off of it. So then we see the orange one
Mm-hmm.
because the other ones are passing through it. And the only one that's not passing through is orange.
It makes so much sense, but I kind of hate the concept.
So this is reflecting orange, correct?
Uh-huh.
Maybe. Depends. Is it?
Stop it. I know where you're going to go.
This is reflecting a wave that is 590 to 620 nanometers long. Okay? So the cones in our eyes, we perceive that wave as the color orange.
Yeah.
But not everything would. Like Gimli, he doesn't have an orange cone. He has no red cones.
Poor Gims. That's my dog.
So her dog, he would see the same wavelength that we're seeing, but his cones don't register it as orange. They register it as a yellowish, goldish, brownish color.
That's so sad. There's so much joy in an orange.
Dogs only have the blue and yellow.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of brown over here. So it's possible that everything that we see is kind of a brownish color could just be a color that we don't have a cone to read.
Interesting. I also will say his favorite toys are a blue pig and a yellow banana squeaky toy. So I wonder if it's because he can't see the other ones.
Yeah, he might think they're boring.
Yeah.
Ultraviolet, star of the show, visible light. What comes next?
Who's to know?
Me. Infrared.
What could it mean?
I am so glad you asked. You might be able to guess, but infra means below. So infrared means below red. So we cannot see an infrared light, but we can feel it.
Also, if you have night vision, you can see it.
You can, yes. Night vision uses infrared and TV remotes use infrared. I know. I didn't like learning that, but I did, unfortunately. We can't see infrared, but we can feel it and we perceive it as heat.
Mm-hmm.
Because our sun is the star of today. If you are standing in the sun,
If you find yourself.
You're standing outside and it's sunshiny and you walk into the shade, you will notice that it gets cooler just instantly as you walk into the shade. And that is because you're blocking one of the directions that those infrared waves are hitting you. And we also use these. So like you said, in night vision, I mentioned TVs. Also, we use them in ovens or, things for cooking.
Yeah.
Speaking of ovens and things for cooking.
Great segue.
There's always a great debate in the heating and reheating space.
That community.
There's buzz in the reheating community over oven versus microwave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm typically a microwave user.
Same.
It's just so much faster.
There's also a third category that we don't have to go into
Cold.
called air frying.
Oh.
Cold?
Type A, type B. So microwaves, they actually work by producing a microwave actually. And it is a wave that matches the resonant frequency of water. Well, if you hit a tuning fork, it resonates. Okay, it vibrates, it makes a noise.
Mm-hmm.
That's the resonant sound or the vibration. So the microwave creates a frequency that resonates the water or shakes it up and down.
Yeah.
Basically, your microwaves are passing through your food and they're vibrating all the water in it really fast enough that it heats it up. But that is also why microwaving food can sometimes make it like sweaty.
Yeah.
Kind of just shaking the water around.
Yeah.
So sometimes it falls out. And then last but not least, but certainly longest, microwave. Radio waves.
You guys, it's literally 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
On
Okay.
the dot, actually. Wow.
Radio waves.
Mm-hmm.
And we use these for radios, but we also use them for things like cell phones. They can pass through many things like buildings and people, but maybe you've been driving and you've driven behind a mountain and you lose service. It's because the radio waves couldn't follow you behind a mountain. They don't pass through mountains. That's that.